What's going on there, folks? Good afternoon. It is the Earth Master here on the live stream, Wednesday, December 7th, 2022. It's about 12:36 p.m. here along the West Coast in California. Latest activity shows a 1.8 earthquake into the area of Southern California on the Earthquake 3D globe. Also, some activity kicking up here around the Solomon Islands with a 5.5. One of the more moderate-sized earthquakes here within the last hour. Looking at the latest information here from the USGS, showing a gradual uptick in earthquake activity out here across the western Pacific. That includes areas just off the coast of Japan, where we've seen some activity coming in about 4 o'clock in the morning time frame. Not a huge push across this area, but a gradual increasing sign of some movement across the general western Pacific plate and also the adjacent Filipino plate here on the west side off the coast of Taiwan. Seen some activity as well with a 5.1. And prior to that, we've seen some activity over here around the Mariana Trench in the Guam area, Mariana Islands region. 4.6 at 157 kilometers deep. So adjustment taking place here within this zone. I don't think there's enough strain built up here along the Mariana Trench, so we're seeing that migrational pressure movement shift westward here towards the Taiwan region. All right, throughout Indonesia, looks like the majority of this earthquake activity is from yesterday, except for the one earthquake. Well, what happened to our Solomon Islands earthquake here? Looks like the USGS has not issued it yet. There was a 5.5 earthquake around the Solomon Islands just a short time ago. So it looks like they're taking them a little while. So again, the majority of these earthquakes, though, from yesterday. But there is some activity kicking up here, as we've seen here on the Earthquake 3D globe. There's that 5.5 around the Solomon Islands area. Also along the Kermadec Trench, some newer activity taking place here with a 4.5 just north of the North Island, New Zealand region. Again, USGS not reporting that earthquake. A couple earthquakes on here they're not reporting, but they're up there, definitely on the globe. Let's see, further west, nothing being reported here. Kind of find that hard to believe. Let's see what we have. Java Trench area looks like it's kind of taking a little break today. There is still some activity being reported in this zone, mostly some smaller earthquakes, but nothing big currently in that zone. Okay, so further west here across the region, a couple 2s and 3s across the Mediterranean area, it looks like. But nothing big going on. The Atlantic Ocean, one earthquake here from yesterday, 5.0. Aside from that, most of the activity today been a little spotty. We're getting a little bit of cluster of quakes here into the South America region once again along the Peru-Chile Trench. There we go. Looks like the USGS just issued that earthquake as I was speaking about it here. So they downgraded it just a little bit to a 5.4 around the Solomon Islands region. Okay, nothing major going on across South America aside from that little swarm I was just showing you guys. Just some 2s and 3s here around the Caribbean plate and the Cocos plate here. Got a little bit of activity brewing up overnight near the northern East Pacific rise. Just after midnight, seen a 4.5 and some previous movement here along the Middle America Trench. Most of the activity around Puerto Rico in the swarming area as normal, as average activity takes place there quite a bit, quite often. All right, up here in the States, I believe this one outside of St. Louis, Missouri, is from yesterday. It looks like that's the case. Haven't seen any further activity being reported in this region today. Into the Texas area. Of course, this is always kind of earthquake country out here now. 2.7 up in Oklahoma, also 2.0. But seeing some activity down here around the Pecos, Texas area yesterday, kind of kicking up here. One earthquake after midnight, looks like, around our swarm area. All right, further up to the Pacific Northwest region, got a little spotty activity across the area today. Nothing major going on. Some earthquakes being reported down here in Yellowstone. Let's go ahead and check that out here real quick. The Yellowstone overview and see what's popping. Just some general small microquake activity, it looks like here. Just a couple very small ones. Nothing major being reported. And as noted there on the USGS map, looks like the majority of the activity well below 2.0 around Yellowstone. Let's see what else we got here. Nevada border, Oregon border. Looks like we're seeing a little bit of migration here northward into Oregon. Let's see. I had a little bit of activity here around 8 o'clock, 5 o'clock this morning time period. A couple ones kicking up. Kind of watching this area. It's been showing a little bit of seismic increase in this region the past couple days. So just kind of watching it. No major quakes yet. No main quake. It's just a bunch of little ones currently. Over here around Northern California, got one earthquake down into the Cascadia subduction zone region, about 30 kilometers deep here. Down dip into the Cascadia. Looks like a 2.2. Not a big one at all. Just a little earthquake out there. Let's see. One earthquake outside of Reno, it looks like, near Sparks, Nevada, 1.7. And some activity across central portions of the state today. We're not really seeing any major uptick. 2.5 and above map shows a couple earthquakes. One this morning about 6 o'clock near the Bodfish area. It's going to be just off of the White Wolf Fault Zone, kind of into the southern end of the Sierra Nevada mountain range. Aside from that, most of the activity here been some small microquakes. One outside of the, let's see where this is at here, Redlands area, looks like, Loma Linda, Moreno Valley. Very small microquake here. We got Minotone. Thought I was looking at Texas there for a little bit, but that's here in California. Okay. And aside from that, most of the movement down south here, very small microquakes, no major swarms around the southern branch of the San Andreas Fault for now. Let's see what we got. Alaska, no major adjustment going on. A couple small earthquakes throughout the region up there. The Big Island, still continuing to have earthquake activity, obviously, and the eruption there in Mauna Loa continuing. I did pull up a map here that the USGS put out in regards to past eruptions, past active fissure areas, and our current listing, our current lava flow started here from fissure number 3. It's continuing to flow down downslope towards the north, towards the highway here, the Mauna Kea access road, and the Saddle Road area. Eventually it's going to make its way down that way. But I kind of wanted to show you guys the 1984 last eruption is here in the orange. At least one segment here. Looks like that was segment number 7, potentially. Got pretty close there to Hilo. We're a little bit further away this time, as far as this most recent eruption, as far as the front flow goes. But this is the previous flows, and also dating back to 1852. Some other previous areas of flows that actually did reach Hilo. Looks like back in 1880. So yeah, things are they're progressing. The latest information. Let's go over here to Mauna Loa site. See what we got here for the latest updated activity with Mauna Loa. Still continuing. Looks like one active fissure remains. Fissure number 3, currently feeding a lava flow advancing slowly towards the Daniel K. Highway, Saddle Road region. The lava flow has reached relatively flat ground still, causing it to slow down significantly over the past several days. As of 6 a.m. today, December 7th, looks like the flow front is about 1.8 miles from the Daniel K. Highway Saddle Road area. Looks like the flow advanced only a small distance since midnight, possibly due to a significant breakout, removing lava from the channel about 2.8 miles behind the tip of the main flow. So sometimes you can kind of get those flows going, backing up a little bit, and then finding a new direction to travel. Looks like the main flow has an advance rate of about 20 feet per hour currently. And latest informational statement here. Excuse me. This one was put out yesterday, but it's still pretty accurate far as the most recent flow here goes. Somewhat pretty close, 1.8 miles to the highway. And I think that will eventually kind of tilt off in this fashion. But we'll watch that here pretty closely. Solar weather activity really ramping up overnight, folks. Got a G2 storm warning, and that has to do with the incoming high-speed solar wind stream that kicked up late last night. We did see things really peak up in the density department, and also the speed is currently increasing there on the real-time solar wind chart, along with a very sharp tilt here of the BZ component. Right here, this red line indicating a pretty sharp southward tilt in the interplanetary magnetic field, and that allowed quite a bit of charged particles to flow in and creating some G. It looks like we've seen at least a G1 storm currently overnight, but we are under a G2 storm watch, it looks like. And that's kind of a moderate storm where we could see some higher, more intense auroras, but also possibly down into the maybe the northern tier states. So it looks like it's backed off. Earlier this morning, this thing was definitely lit up pretty nicely. But currently, things look like they're just going down here a little bit, but I don't think it's over by a long shot. I think we're going to see some further elevated conditions here with the aurora forecast. Again, a G2 class storm. Looks like that is possible here today and later tonight. And then a G1 storm continuing here for tomorrow time period. And again, that's all coming from 53, which is currently shifting much, much further here on the western section here of the sun. And we're left with some decent sunspots. We did see a couple C flares kick off overnight as well. Upper C flare here, about a C5.8 it looks like. And current flare threat level remains at 90%, M flare at 30%, X flare at 10%, with a 5% chance of a proton event. And the current images here of the sunspots. This here is looking like a interesting little feature here with a lot of different magnetic points here. So this one's kind of growing a little bit, getting a little bit more complex. That one is turning towards the sun, or towards the Earth. And yeah, actually these look a little bit more active today than they did last night. Pretty large sunspot down here as well. Possible could see some activity from numerous of these, any one of these sunspots today. A couple new regions developing around the northeastern section of the sun. And so we'll watch that here in the coming days. But for now, good shot of seeing the auroras at the higher latitudes here over the next couple nights. And we'll keep an eye open there for the flares. All right, folks, have a good day. I got some more lectures and stuff I got to take care of coming towards the end of the semester here already. Crazy how time flies by. I got another week or two before that ends, so I got quite a few projects I have to take care of with my schooling and whatnot. The current Mauna Loa live stream is down. It went down just like, I think like 15-20 minutes ago or so. So I will keep checking on that. Once it comes back up, I'll bring it back up. But for now, we'll keep up the seismographs and the earthquake 3D globe. A couple of the seismographs are missing, and those are kind of like my main ones I like to watch. We got Yellowstone gone. That's not providing any data. Also Petrolia, and also looks like a BC station up there. So a couple of my main seismographs are down, but we'll see if they come back throughout the afternoon. If not, by early evening, I'll reset this and see if I can reset them, bring them back in. Kind of important to watch this earthquake activity. A little earthquake down there in Southern California right now showing up on the graph. But all right, guys, we'll be back a little bit later on. Have a good Wednesday. Take care, folks.